Let's talk about another form of union busting that has been rearing its ugly head lately that I haven't talked about in a long time. Okay, so you've gotten all the union cards signed, you have enough of a percentage. The prospective union has submitted all of the cards to the National Labor Relations Board, and you are awaiting the NLRB's determination as to when and where you're going to hold the election. Okay? So the employer has the opportunity to go before the NLRB and argue for things like the union may want it to be a mail-in ballot because employees are very, very fearful of retaliation if the employer sees them going in to vote. So the union would want it to be a mail-in, and the employer will come in and just, I don't know what excuses, reasons they drum up that they pull out their ass, but they will argue that no, it has to be in person. It has to be in person. Okay. And another thing they will do is the union will want it to be sometimes an off-site location. So not right there in the hospital, let's say, but an off-site, agreed upon location. Because again, employees really fear the retaliation if their manager is right down there in the lobby watching them go in to vote. They are much, much, much more apt to show up if it's at an off-site location. But the employer will go in there and argue that it can't. Why? To retain the ability to intimidate employees. That's it. That's the only reason they care about this. They want to be able to intimidate employees till the very last possible minute and keep them away from voting. The union will want typically for the election to go on for as long as possible to ensure that as many people as possible have the opportunity to go and vote. Okay. So they might request that it's 5 days, a week, 2 weeks, whatever. And it's, from like 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. or something to ensure that employees can show up. The corrupt union busting hospital and their attorneys will go in front of the NLRB and say, oh, no. It can only be 1 day. Oh, 2 days. And it can only be from like 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I shit you not. This is what they try to get away with. Again, to ensure that a whole percentage of employees won't be able to get there because, we work 12-hour shifts, right? Most of us are working 3-4 days in a row. So if it's only for 2 days or 3, how are we going to get there? And if it's only till 8 p.m., let's say, how are we? No nurse gets out on time to begin with. How are we going to get there? We're not. So they are automatically cutting out a big percentage of employees that just won't show up because they can't, even though they wanted to. This is a very common union busting tactic that employers do. And it's dirty. It is so dirty. So if where you work has done this in the past, drop it in the comments, talk about it. But understand this, again, expect it, recognize it, don't fall for it. The union busting is going to keep coming in waves, and it's going to get stronger and stronger as you get closer and closer to an election. Look for it, expect it, recognize it, don't fall for all of their tactics. And for the love of God, show up and vote, no matter what. No matter if you have to get a babysitter, okay? Whatever you have to do, show up and vote, no matter how much of an inconvenience it is, because the corrupt employer has made it that way. Show up to vote.